So it appears like the establishment is panicking, and now they might be throwing their hopes and their money behind one Deval Patrick. Now, this is Deval Patrick. If you don't know who he is, fear not. I will update you. So, Jeff Zeleny tweeted the following. This guy's from CNN. New former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick is telling friends and allies in phone calls today that he has made a decision to run for the Democratic nomination for president. Two people familiar with the matter tell CNN, and is poised to make it official by Friday or sooner. So, there's your answer. He was the governor of Massachusetts, and he's been a long time Democratic establishment insider. And I want to give you just a few little facts about his record and about who he is, so we can, make up our mind at this very early date. Now, again, keep in mind, the whole reason why he's running is, well, obviously personal ambition is one thing, and I'm sure that's a big part of it, but an even bigger part of it is, no, you don't get it, the establishment is panicking. And they're now realizing, kind of like the Republican establishment realized in late in the race in 2016, they were like, oh, it looks like Trump might actually win this thing. Because if you remember, and it was glorious to watch all this unfold, but they threw everything they had at him. At first, it was like, okay, people, we have Jeb Bush running. Aren't you excited for another Bush? Isn't he so charismatic? Isn't he such an accomplished politician? So they threw Bush out there. That didn't work at all. Even with all the media chatter and speculation pumping him up and acting like he's great, he became irrelevant rather quickly. Then they were like, oh, God. Okay, maybe Marco Rubio. You like Marco Rubio? He's young. He's a young guy. His last name is Rubio. Dare we say he's a person of color? They tried to throw Rubio out there. That didn't work very well either. Trump destroyed him. They even went to John Kasich as another option, like, oh yeah, no, very serious Republican, all about the deficit. Maybe he did a good job as governor. Do you like that? That didn't work. In fact, one of the funniest parts of the campaign was John Kasich bragging after he got like second place in a primary or third place. And everybody's like, what are you doing? And the media was like, oh, yeah, serious candidate. He didn't win, but he was close to maybe winning one contest, so him, maybe. And then it even got to the point where they were like, Ted Cruz. Yes, Ted Cruz, we'll take him over Trump. Please just don't pick Trump. And then what happened? We all know Donald Trump destroyed Ted Cruz as well. So now the Democratic Party's in a similar situation. They're trying, man. They got, Howard Schultz was threatening the independent run. You got Tim Ryan. You got John Delaney. You got Amy Klobuchar. You got Mayor Pete. You got all these centrists. Biden, who now the establishment has decided he ain't going to last. In some polls, he's still leading. But the establishment has decided it doesn't look good for Biden. So they're panicking. And they need somebody. And they're flinging mud against the wall and hoping something sticks. And now they got Deval Patrick. And they think, oh, this guy's good. He's a minority, a person of color. They had Kamala, but Kamala, of course, imploded in a legendary fashion. She's now at 1% in some polls in the early states. Hilarious. But now they're going with Deval Patrick. And they want to try to make him, the flavor of the month. And it's not going to work. First of all, even, I get it. Our system is wild and crazy, but this is a super late entrance into the race. I mean, it just is. Michael Bloomberg, Deval Patrick, this late. No, everything is kind of solidified, and we have so many candidates running. So, what do you think? You're going to appear out of nowhere and all of a sudden skyrocket in some polls in Iowa or New Hampshire? No way. You don't even have the name recognition yet. I mean, the media loves you, and they'll try to pump you up, but you probably no ground game, all that stuff. But even more important, his record is abysmal. So let me walk you through some of that. as governor of Massachusetts, he secured $1 billion in tax breaks and subsidies for pharmaceutical and biotech companies. So, I mean, you want to talk about just the epitome of a corporate Democrat. There you go. He also increased the sales tax by $1 billion. Now, I need you guys to understand something. There's this caricature, this stereotype of Democrats is like, oh, they wanted to tax and spend lefty. That's what you are. And it's like, well, no, I've said on this show, and I'll continue to say it, I don't think I've ever met a middle-class tax increase that I like. Now, don't get me wrong, when it comes to like Medicare for all, since you're eliminating the private tax, which is premiums, copays, deductibles, and that's more, and you're raising public taxes, but it's less, that's a middle-class tax increase that makes sense, but it's because the net cost for a middle-class family goes down, so they save money. But, like, you know, any kind of cost that is or any kind of tax that's legitimately regressive and impacts working people more than the rich, I'm not a fan of. Well, Deval Patrick is, and that's exactly what this is when he increased the sales tax by $1 billion. So he's kind of feeding into that, you know, the stereotype, the caricature of Democrats and people on the left as like, all they want to do is tax you and take your hard-earned money. And, well, when you're increasing the sales tax by $1 billion, that is an issue. But now here are the most important points. His record in the private sector. So after leaving the government, you know where he accepted a job? You're going to love this one. Bain Capital. Now, that might sound familiar to some of you, and the reason it does is because that's Mitt Romney's vulture capitalist company, where he was caught on camera. I don't think he even knew a camera was on, where he says, yeah, we harvest companies and then like sell them for profit. So this is like the blood-sucking vulture capitalists that everybody hates. He went to go work for Bain Capital, that company. And then also, he worked for AmeriQuest. And his record with AmeriQuest is disastrous. AmeriQuest is one of these companies that was heavy into the subprime mortgage loans, which of course led to the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession. And Deval Patrick was viewed as like the fixer for corporate America. So if there was ever instances with some companies of their allegations of racial bias, he swoops in, he tries to help them save their reputation, they pay him a tremendous amount of money. With AmeriQuest, they were predatory in targeting families of color. And Deval Patrick was on the side of the predatory guys. So he likes to paint his picture as like a rags to riches story, or tell his story like it's a rags to riches story. But no, it's really like a perfect example of a dude selling out to the establishment and becoming part of the worst aspects of corporate America. That's Deval Patrick. Now, if he really thinks he's going to hop in the race and have a chance in a populist anti-establishment era, good luck to you. They're all going to embarrass themselves, man. I mean, they already are. The only one who's like inexplicably making a run is Mayor Pete. And because Mayor Pete's been in this race for such a long time. But, I mean, you have like 12 people representing the same terrible corporate centrist ideology. And what, you think this is, I will come and save the country from the scourge of the eventual nominee, Bernie Sanders. Not going to happen, man. Now, apparently the Obama team has spoken to Deval Patrick. They're buddies, and, he was saying, hey, good luck to you. So, they're getting desperate. But as soon as his record gets under the microscope a little bit, as I just gave you some of right now, people are going to go, ooh, I don't like that. And they're right to not like that. Because we're done with the, pick a standard politician who goes along to get along. I don't want somebody who's part of the club. And if you think about it, that's one of the reasons why Andrew Yang is doing so well. Now, I disagree with Andrew Yang on plenty of stuff, and I've gone over that on this show many times. But there's a reason why he's way outperforming what any establishment bobblehead thought, what any mainstream media bobblehead thought, is because he gets to go out there and say, I'm an outsider. I'm a legitimate outsider. I had nothing to do with the swamp. Now I want to go in there and try to fix stuff. So That gives you a lot of credibility in today's day and age. Better that than saying, oh, I was a congressperson or, oh, I was a governor or whatever it might be. But, you got a lot of dirt on you because people see the dirt now from a mile away and they go, oh, so you're a sellout. So you're part of the problem. And that's true in the case of Deval Patrick. So anyway, he's hopping in. It's hilarious. His ego got the better of him, but the establishment wants it. But I don't think he'll go very far.